Have you ever wondered how a single event can change the course of global politics? Let's delve into the recent happenings in the Middle East, a region that's no stranger to conflict and tension. A deadly Israeli airstrike on an Iranian diplomatic facility in Syria has set the stage for an escalation of tensions that the globe watches with bated breath. This strike has resulted in the death of several senior Iranian military officials, a move that has not gone unnoticed by the Iranian government. The airstrike targeted an Iranian consulate building in Damascus, and the death toll included 2 generals from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, a group designated as a terrorist organization by the United States. The loss of such high-ranking military officials has led Iran to vow revenge, a promise that has sent ripples of unease throughout the region and beyond. The United States, despite not being directly involved in the strike, finds itself in a precarious position. Iran has accused the US of enabling the attack and, in its quest for retaliation, may target American troops stationed in the region. The US, for its part, has denied involvement and expressed concern for the safety of its forces in the region, yet the situation remains volatile. The Middle East, a region already fraught with conflict, is now a stage for a potentially explosive face-off, a shadow war that has been years in the making. The airstrike has not only escalated tensions between Israel and Iran, but also put US forces in the crosshairs, presenting a complex and dangerous geopolitical chessboard. In this climate of high tension, the next moves from each party will undoubtedly shape the future of the region. It's a delicate balance of power, a dance of diplomacy and military might, where the smallest misstep could have far-reaching consequences. One thing is certain: the world will be watching closely, waiting to see how this new chapter in Middle Eastern politics unfolds. When threatened, how does a nation respond? In the case of Iran, the answer is clear. With a promise of retaliation, this promise has been made unequivocally by Iran's Chief of Staff, Mohammad Bagheri, following the deadly airstrike in Syria that took the lives of 7 members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, including 2 of its generals. Speaking at a memorial ceremony for the fallen, Bagheri did not mince words. He declared that Iran's enemies will regret the killings and threaten to exact maximum damage. Such a response, he assured, will be carried out at the right time, with the necessary precision and planning. The embodiment of this retaliation, he suggested, would be so severe that it would lead to deep regret for those who had orchestrated the attack. The promise of maximum damage is chilling. It suggests a level of retaliation that could dramatically escalate the already heightened tensions in the Middle East. Such a response could potentially have far-reaching implications, not just for Israel, who Iran blames for the attack, but also for the United States, who Iran accuses of enabling it. But Bagheri's words were not just about promising retaliation. They were also about honoring the fallen. Among the dead was Mohammad Reza Zahedi, a brigadier general from the Quds Force, the IRGC's foreign operations arm. Zahedi, who was believed to be the Quds Force commander for the Palestinian territories, Syria and Lebanon, was the most senior Iranian soldier killed since the United States missile strike at Baghdad airport in 2020 that killed Quds Force Chief General Qasem Soleimani. As Bagheri spoke, the crowd chanted "Down with Israel" and "Down with the United States." These chants give a sense of the raw emotions and nationalistic fervor that are currently running high in Iran. They underscore the depth of the anger and the desire for revenge that are likely to shape Iran's response. So, as Iran promises a calculated and damaging response, the world watches with bated breath. Will Iran's retaliation lead to a further escalation in the shadow war with Israel? Will it draw the United States further into the fray? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the stakes in the Middle East have never been higher. Who are the people behind the uniforms, lost in the strike? We delve into the lives of the 2 generals who were lost in the strike, both hailing from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a force that has been designated as a terrorist organization by the United States. Let's shed some light on their roles and the potential impact of their loss on Iran's military operations. Among the fallen was Mohammad Reza Zahedi, a veteran soldier with a career spanning over 40 years. At 63 years old, this brigadier general was believed to be the Quds Force commander for the Palestinian territories Syria and Lebanon. Zahedi wasn't just a military man, he was a strategist, a leader and a figure of influence. His loss represents a significant blow to the Quds Force, the IRGC's foreign operations arm. Zahedi's contributions were not limited to the battlefield. He played a vital role in shaping policy and commanding operations across 3 territories. His hands-on approach and strategic insight were instrumental in shaping Iran's foreign military operations. Zahedi's death has left a void that will be challenging to fill, potentially disrupting the operations he once led. Beyond Zahedi, the loss of another general and 5 other IRGC members amplifies the impact of this strike. Each of these individuals played a crucial role within the IRGC's structure. Their collective experience, knowledge and leadership will be sorely missed, and their absence could create ripples that affect Iran's military operations. The loss of such influential figures is not just a military setback for Iran, but it also fuels the nation's desire for vengeance. These men were not just soldiers, they were patriots devoted to their country's cause. As Iran mourns their loss, the thirst for retaliation intensifies. It's a cycle that's all too familiar. Violence begets violence, and the fallen become symbols of a cause. Their memories used to stoke the fires of conflict. With the loss of such influential figures, Iran's thirst for retaliation only grows. How does the world prepare for a storm that's yet to come? In the face of escalating tensions, nations worldwide are on high alert, particularly the United States and Israel. The aftermath of the deadly airstrike in Syria has ratcheted up the stakes in this shadow war, with the potential for direct retaliation from Iran looming ominously on the horizon. The United States, a long-standing ally of Israel, finds itself potentially in the line of fire. The US has denied involvement in the airstrike, but that hasn't alleviated the risk to its troops in the region. Iran's threats of retaliation could see American forces targeted, and this has amplified the sense of urgency in the country's preparations. As one US official confirmed, we're definitely at a high state of vigilance. Israel, the alleged instigator of the airstrike, is also bracing for impact. The Israeli army has heightened its alertness and strengthened its defenses in anticipation of a counterstrike. Despite its silence on the incident, Israel is no stranger to this kind of warfare, having been embroiled in a long-standing conflict with Iran and its proxies. Behind the scenes, intelligence reports suggest that Iran's retaliation is not a matter of if, but when. The country's military forces are reportedly on full high alert, and there's talk of a direct attack on Israel. This isn't a threat to be taken lightly. Iran's military prowess, combined with its vows of maximum damage, paint a sobering picture of what such retaliation could look like. The world watches and waits, holding its breath as the storm gathers. International leaders, diplomats and military strategists alike are working behind the scenes, planning for every eventuality. The goal is to minimize the potential for loss and destruction, but the unpredictability of warfare makes this an uphill battle. Meanwhile, the general public can only speculate, their concerns fueled by a steady stream of news updates and social media chatter. The fear of war is palpable, but so too is the hope for a peaceful resolution. As the world braces for Iran's response, the question remains, when and where will it strike? What does it mean to face the wrath of Iran's military might? Iran, a dominant force in the Middle East, has been steadily ramping up its military capabilities. A cornerstone of this build-up is their formidable drone and missile arsenal. These aren't your everyday quadcopters. We're talking about state-of-the-art unmanned aerial vehicles capable of precision strikes from high altitudes. Coupled with an extensive range of ballistic missiles, Iran's firepower is not to be underestimated. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's elite military force, has already demonstrated their readiness to utilize these assets to inflict maximum damage. The promise by Chief of Staff Mohammad Bagheri is not an empty threat. With a history of military strategic brilliance, Iran's potential for retaliation is significant. The recent advancements in Iran's military technology have made it an even more formidable adversary. Its drone and missile capabilities have been honed to perfection, promising a swift and devastating response to any perceived threats. As Iran flexes its military muscle, the world must prepare for the unpredictable.